Okay. Yes, let's see. All right. Looks like we're probably live. If we're not, you're all seeing this after the recording. Hello, Denise. Tell us where you are in the world and about your company.
I
What
am in Petersburg, Virginia, which is about 30 minutes south of Richmond.
awesome. And tell us about DCA Virtual and what you all do.
DCA Virtual Business Support. It's a woman owned business, and we're SWAM certified in Virginia, which is small minority and women owned businesses. And been in business since 2014. I actually started it in when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. Moved to this area about 5 years ago, and we do a variety of business support. Basically, if you're running the business alone, or maybe you have a few contractors, or maybe you need to switch out a contractor or have a key employee leave, those are times where a company like mine can be useful. We do administrative support, creative support, social media, newsletter design, website design. We do some automations in some platforms. So yeah, we're the small business owner's best friend, basically.
Yes, and I can vouch for that. This is not as you see content creators. This is not paid content. This is not paid content. You guys are the work that you do is amazing.
Thank you.
For all the people that are entrepreneurs out there, or own a small business, and they're just trying to do everything. I cannot recommend it more. And for me, it was like, oh, I can't afford this. I can't afford this. What the time that it freed up for me to do other things is just remarkable. So, those of you watching and listening, if you're trying to do it all yourselves, it's a never-ending battle. You'll be on that hamster wheel forever. And I'm still on a hamster wheel, but it's a different one. So, knowing that I have people that and DCA helps me with administrative work, social media. Oh Lord, troubleshooting, troubleshooting when something doesn't work, like this Riverside platform, and it's not my favorite. But yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those. Uh, what do you call it? It's like a fallacy that you're the business owner. You must do all the things all by yourself all the time, and I'm sure you encounter people like that a lot, Denise. Yeah.
Yeah, from time to time. To be honest with you, the businesses we work with, they're usually pretty smart about knowing they need help and knowing that they need to give up a little bit of control.
Mm.
Honestly, if the person is really reluctant about giving up control, I usually pass on them. They tend to not be good clients, and it doesn't benefit them or me if they're not ready.
Yeah, that's true. That is really true. And I think I deal with a lot of clients that I'm I sort of pushing them your way, like you need somebody to help you with this because you're spending so much time, and your time, when you own a business, is time is money. And so I think that it's important to look at it. I think the way we did it, and this conversation isn't necessarily about how I did it, but I wrote the job description, right? If you remember, this is so long ago. I just started writing every time I was doing something that I felt like, why am I doing this? Either I don't like it, I'm not good at it. It's taking me longer than somebody who might be an expert could do, especially things like design. I am not a designer. Even with Canva, I'm like this. I just the my skill level is just not there. I know what I want, and so once I put all that together and I came to you, you were like, "Yep, we do these things. We don't do these things. You seem to need help with this. You think you need help with that, and this is what you need help with." So I totally appreciate it. I feel like it's been awesome. So thank you.
Thank you. You know,
Okay, so
one of the
go ahead.
things that you said is actually how we, I guess, consult with people, coach them when they come to me and they're not sure, like, well, what is a VA? How do we work with a VA, or how do we work with somebody that's remote and not on site? And that's actually one of the things you just said was how we consult them is write it down. The stuff that you get to that you don't like, that you think is a waste of time, that your skill level's not, where it
Hmm.
should be, or, you just really loathe doing that thing.
Yeah, or you're avoiding it, and you know you're avoiding it, and there's a reason why.
Hmm.
It's like you're pushing it off so far. And the other thing, and I know last time we had this conversation, it's been a while. When we did the live stream. It was something about just like coming prepared. Like you said, Nick, you're not there to convince people that they need you. It's like they kind of need to come sort of ready to get the help, and I think that that's important. So for some people, it may never happen, but I think there's plenty out there that it's like you just need somebody. It doesn't have to be like, every day, all day in your business. Once you get set up, it's like they know what to do. So I love it. So thank you, Denise, for that. So because you deal, one, because you're also very active in your business community, but because you deal with lots of different types of businesses, I thought it'd be fun for us to catch up on kind of maybe what you saw in this past year, trends, things that you saw that might be frustrating for business owners that you all kind of started tackling this year, and maybe what's going to continue. We keep joking, we're going to use our crystal ball for 2026, but anything from 2025 that you feel you saw a lot of, or just
So, in a small business community, and when I say that, I'm talking smaller of the small businesses, like, most of them being under 5 million, and at least half of those under a million. So, I'm talking about really small businesses. I don't know if that's defined as micro or not, but in that community, there's been fear, kind of caution, just the crazy things going on with tariffs and employment and, unemployment, jobs, not going the way that they expected them, rates not coming down. It's it is really, people have been moving with caution, okay? Whether that's fear or just caution, I don't really know. But people have been moving with caution, and buying decisions have been much slower. So where it might take me, a conversation to close a deal, which does happen sometimes, it's taking me a conversation and 5 emails and another conversation potentially, and sometimes not even closing them. So
right.
it's been a challenge. AI usage, misconception that you can use it for everything. You can use it for a
Let's
whole
talk
lot of
about
things.
that. Yeah. Let's talk, because you and I were, I feel like, listen, I act like we're like super cutting edge, but kind of. I remember it was, gosh, over a year ago that we started talking about AI, and what do you input into AI? What are you getting out of it? How are you reading it? How are you using it? So let's talk about that.
Yeah,
What
I
you've
think it
seen.
was
Yeah.
actually last year sometime that we lost our first client because we wouldn't do her social media totally by AI. And she's like, "You'll save so much time. You could charge me less." I was like, "Yeah." And we're just not 100%. I mean, you're talking like 18 months ago. We're just not 100% sure it's not going to plagiarize things, and we don't
Right.
want to take that risk. So now that we've learned more about it, we are using AI in content creation. However, we have guardrails on all of our team members. So just that trend that, people have that misconception that AI can do everything that a person can do.
Yep.
You still need to humanize. When you're talking about content that's going out to people, you need to humanize it. And there's a lot of things about AI that just, it sounds very much like AI. So, and people
Yeah.
are getting smarter about it, and AIs are getting smarter. Actually, they're
Yeah.
actually generating better content to some degree. You still need to fact check everything.
Yep.
We've been, I think, building agents for things that even some of my admin people are doing, some of the administrative functions, even calendaring, that sort of thing. I think there's AI agents that can be built for that. Some of my
Yeah.
team have built, we mentioned Alan earlier, have built their own AI agents to do certain things. Dee built one.
Yeah.
So, my team, we have Copilot internally, so my team is dabbling with that and, doing things to make work more efficient. So we are definitely into it now. I just wanted to make sure that from, a legal perspective that we were CYA.
Right. Yeah, I think that's important. And also, like you said about, you need that, it will not sound human if a human isn't reading through and going, oh, that doesn't sound like this brand, right? So if you're writing content for another brand, you know, just kind of, or that just, it comes across as kind of funky. I use it too, but I have to read and scour and like take, still take some time to just give it the Angela-ness of it, give it the
Mm-hmm.
brand personality. And yeah, it's getting better, but it's still not perfect. And I think that, I keep seeing people talk about like work slop and things like that. It's like if you're just using it, dumping it, and then sending it on like it is, perfect, I think you're doing yourself a disservice and your own clients, whatever type of business you have. I mean, I did a blog post this year about just the worst AI email sales pitch I got, which was like five in a row. Just mistakes and clear language pulled from my own website sent back to me, like just that kind of stuff. And I was like, "Oh, this
I
is
had
really
somebody to
bad."
do that who had applied for a job.
Ooh,
And I
yeah,
recognized, I was like, wow, you just literally spitting my job ad back at me.
right. And it was, yeah. And when it's a interest like a phrase like that, a human did it, so it stands out. It was, and at one point, one of the emails said, it's almost like it was telling the person using AI about me. It was like, Angela is a business consultant, blah blah blah. She would be a good candidate for whatever they were selling. And I just was like, did you just send this to me? I don't think you meant to send this to me. So yeah, yeah, and I have had some recently that were a little bit better, still kind of salesy, still not the right. The words are just kind of funky. So I don't give people a hard time for using it. But if you are like, and you think that, like you said, they think humans aren't necessary, it's not, or the person that said, well, that you can charge them less. It's like you still need a person to review and update and check it and do all that stuff. I mean, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you used any of the video
No.
AI type stuff? No.
Yeah, it's. I don't feel like it's advanced enough for video or image generation yet. I toyed around with it again, maybe about a year ago, 6 months ago, and it just wound up being terrible. Hands were in the wrong places, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Um, okay. Anything else from 2025? I mean, I think the fear and the caution. I think we all felt that for sure.
Offshoring. That was another trend that I saw.
Really?
Yeah, when you think of offshoring, you think of bigger businesses like, the large banks or manufacturing, sending it out of country.
Hmm.
Um, but also VA services. People, a lot of times are going offshore to get cheaper prices, to be honest with you. And, I'm sure many of them do a great job, but there are some distinct differences. Many of the countries that do the VA work, like India or the Philippines or Pakistan, they're up at night doing the work to mimic your business hours. I'm a firm
Yeah.
believer that following your own internal clock is when you
Hmm.
perform best, not at hours where you should be sleeping. What is that?
Right.
Circadian rhythm, I guess, is
Right.
what it
It's
is.
true. Hmm.
And then sometimes there are some language issues. Not all
Yeah.
the time, but sometimes there are. So that's one of the trends that I've been seeing. I've actually been seeing that for a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. And all of your whole team is U.S. based.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it is. I think you're right. I think it is hard for people that are overseas trying to, work in a different time zone and wanting to keep the same hours. That's really hard. I don't think I could. I don't think I could operate that way. And I don't think I would want to have an admin that's, you know,
I can barely
you
stay
know.
up past 8:30. I mean, come on.
Tell me about it. I've thought about moving these live streams to a little earlier time because
Especially
I'm
with
like,
daylight savings. Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
it's the worst. I don't know why every year it feels like it's like longer to adjust. Like okay, we're already in December now. I should be okay with this,
I don't think
and
my
I am
dogs
not.
adjust until it's like the month before we're changing back.
Exactly. Oh, that's so funny. Is there anything with like clients and businesses that you've worked with or through your travels that people are feel excited about? I know there's been a lot of fear and caution, and we're just all kind of, what's the word, trepidatious. But anything that you see people or for you in your own business that you're kind of like excited about?
Well, where I am in Virginia, where the region is experiencing growth, Chesterfield County is adjacent, just north of us, and it's in between like Richmond and Petersburg.
Hmm.
They have a lot of growth. They have a fusion plant that's I believe has just come in, a Lego plant that yeah, and they're supposed to have a Lego museum there too, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken. That's just come in. My
yep.
city, Petersburg Live Casino, just
Hmm.
the referendum was voted in last year, and
Hmm.
the temporary casino is getting ready um, to actually open. It's supposed to be January 22nd. So all this like infrastructure and economic development that's not necessarily directly related to us does build some buzz and excitement. So I can only speak
Yeah.
to about my area,
Yeah.
and I know we work remotely, but I know there's other areas that this is happening in as well. That there's
Hmm.
just that type of economic development and
Yeah.
growth.
And I think it is happening in these, I hate to call it a secondary market, but in the markets just outside the bigger city, where
Hmm.
people are trying to move and where they can afford to live and
Hmm.
where you can afford to run a business, frankly. I think that's definitely happening in a lot of places.
Hmm.
Is there any, okay, we'll go to our crystal ball. Are there any industries that you hope to work with in the coming year? I mean, you work with so many different types. Is there anything in particular that you're like, ooh, this would be interesting?
We are building out our professional association service line, and
Oh.
that is that we have been doing that for some time, but it's usually been
Mhm.
like one or two clients here or there. It might be a business networking group or
Mhm.
a different type of association. So right now we have, I think, three association clients. We have a speaker association. We have a intellectual property lawyers association,
Mhm.
and we have women's business network. So we have three now. We're talking to a couple of others, and it is basically it's just repackaging what we already do. It is
Right.
not really a new service line.
Mhm.
However, we're marketing it as a new service line. We're building a new website, and
Mhm.
we'll have new email addresses, so it'll for that portion of the business.
Right.
So yeah, we're doing that, and there's potentially a collaboration coming along the way with that. I don't want to announce it yet because it's not official.
Okay.
However, the way it was described was this. Um, I have bench, she has depth, meaning she has a lot of
Mm.
depth in the industry. I have
Mhm.
the ability to execute.
Right.
And that's
I
a
love
great
that.
partnership.
It is. And that's because that's another thing. It kind of goes back to what we said before about finding people to, work on your team or to help you. Is like if you can balance the skill sets or I work with a couple of different people on various projects. It's like some are, I work with a designer, for example, who is like, she can take the concept and the idea and really blow out the graphic design. And I'm the strategist behind it, making sure that, and between the two of us, it just works out so well. It makes me so happy. So I love having partners that's just a different skills that we can bring together. That's
Hmm.
great. That's really exciting. I think associations do have sometimes they have those similar needs that, becoming an expert in that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like the technical skills, those are the same, but
Hmm.
there's more learning and education that we're doing with our team on the membership aspect of it. So that
Right.
that part is a little bit different, but administrative is administrative, and they all
Hmm.
need marketing, social media, newsletters, and
Yep.
sometimes work on their websites. So
Yep.
yeah, it's like I said, pretty much all the things we're already doing.
Awesome. No, that's great though. I love that. And what else are you seeing in looking ahead to 2026? I'm like, it is 2026 coming up, right? And now you've been in business now over 10 years.
It'll be 15 years next year.
Yes. So, okay. I didn't, why did I say, what number did I write down? Oh, yeah, you said 2014, didn't you? I can't read my own numbers that I write
Did I
down.
write
Um,
2014? Actually, it was 2011.
oh, okay. I'm like, it's not my math, is it? I
No,
mean,
it's
geez,
not. It's user error.
2011. Okay. All right. I guess the what I wanted to say is sort of like you've kind of seen a lot in this
Hmm.
time, right? And now we're going to 2026. We've talked about people being a little cautious, a little fearful. Where do you see for independent businesses, the smaller businesses, where do you see that they can really, I call it the kind of punch above their weight? Are there little areas that you see in business that you're like, I wish more people would take advantage of this or look in this direction? Anything that you
So technology and AI, and well, I did say AI cannot do everything. AI has gotten immensely smarter. I used AI to create an ideal client profile. I used AI to research in the industries that I want to target for sales to figure out what their pain points were. And I saw a demonstration. I didn't do this, but I saw a demonstration at the 10KSB Summit and at the end of October, where a professor from, I believe he was from Wharton Business School, in a 45-minute presentation created a business plan, created a mock-up of a website, created his financial data, and essentially just plugged that into a business plan.
Wow.
In 45 minutes. Now, obviously he has practiced this and knew he could do it.
Right.
And it was really impressive. Now, I think people can start becoming more sophisticated with their use of AI and not just using it for content. Like the ideal client profile, I fed it information from our clients and our sales, and it told me who my unicorns are, essentially.
Right.
And I was like, how interesting. And I knew most of them were on the unicorn list, but you know, got an occasional surprise there. It also broke it down by region and, you know, region and industry. So it was pretty incredible. And as far as technology, I think since COVID, we have been like on this technology rocket. I mean, there was this huge, like, just change in everything because, you know, COVID forced the change for a lot of technology. And now with AI being solidly on the scene, it's been around for quite some time, but as far as available to consumers, really only the past 2 or 3-ish years. So with that, I also see opportunities there for people to use technology smarter with the use of AI and or automation to augment processes without taking the human aspect out of it.
Right.
You know, creating smart templates. That's essential for small business owners. And I know some people are like, oh, just automate it all and put it on autopilot. Well, you can. It's very impersonal, and I don't enjoy doing business that way. Do you?
Right.
So I think for small business owners, I think that's the biggest thing. And also just reviewing their tech stack in general. For this next year, because we work with clients who all the time I was like, did you know you have this in your Microsoft subscription already? And they're like, what? We do? It's like, yeah, you can get rid of it. Oh, and by the way, you can get rid of that too because your HubSpot subscription does that.
Right.
And so this was the same client, and we eliminated it. So I think there's opportunities this way, and those opportunities have always been there. But smarter business owners are looking at those things to streamline their tech and to make AI work smarter for them.
Right. And that's one of the things with my plan for 2025, our first quarter working with DCA and my team there was look at all of I didn't call them tech stack, that sounds fancy, but all the business tools that we use, all the things, like, are we using them? Do we not? Is there something that's missing? Is there something that I'm paying for that frankly is not cutting it for us? You know, we kind of just went through all of that, and for this coming year, I want to do it again. You know, and I just kind of want to be like, okay, and I feel like it's a good habit because things do change and things do come around, and it's like. Speaking of technology, it's so funny. I turned off my notifications on my computer too, so maybe I do need some help. It's always something. Yeah, it was ringing very loudly. But yeah, I think that, like, reviewing that, and again, I think for some, you know, when you open a business because you have a passion for something or you're an expert at it, a lot of times those are the things that you're just like, well, they'll sort themselves out. And it's like they just won't, you know, they're just not going to sort themselves out. And it doesn't mean you have to be like an AI expert or a tech genius. It's really just taking that first step and acknowledging what's going on, what you're using, where are you wasting time in terms of, and I'm not like wasting time. I'm not saying everyone has to be super hyper productive, but it's like if you're taking X amount of time to do something where you would much rather, when it would benefit your business more and you'd rather be doing something else, then why not take a look and see what you can do? My first AI experience was really, I just asked it to, it was about a year and a half ago. I said, make me a bird. A bird. I want a blue bird with a jaunty little hat and a scarf. I just want to see what it would do. And
That's funny.
lo and behold, it forgot to put pants on the bird, so I told it to put some pants on it. Because I have these three, and I saved them in my phone because I just feel like years from now I'm gonna be like, this was my very first AI request, and here it is. Still irrelevant today, but But I think that being able to kind of embrace the advancements of technology, not run from them. But you said something about going to the Goldman Sachs 10,000 small businesses. What do you think about, and how much tech has changed and grown during COVID? What do you think about these sort of in real life experiences, these, doing things? I mean, you guys are a virtual company, but you're not a virtual, you're not a virtual person. You're not a real person,
a real person.
A real human. So what do you think about in real life and, these types of experiences?
So, and that's where I think some business owners are getting the AI and the technology and let's automate everything wrong, is you cannot eliminate the human experience. I belong to like 3 different networking groups, a women's business group and 2 chambers that are local to me. And those relationships are very, very important because these people connect me to other people. And that is one of the main ways that you build business, especially when I'm talking about the size businesses that I referenced earlier. That is one of the main ways that you build business. And that's especially important for micro businesses. Now, taking that human factor out of there, it just, you're relying strictly on whatever you can do on the website. And you might have the funds, and you might have the expertise or able to hire the expertise, but you still have constant competition. There's always change in the digital marketing space. And if you are not on it like constantly, then your leads will start drying up. So it's like a constant. You have to have content. You have to adjust your ads. You have to adjust your SEO. Those kinds of things. So having that human contact is important. When we look at our analytics from the back end of our website, most people are just searching my business name. That is only because they know me.
Right.
Or somebody has told them about me. It's not SEO stuff. Do we get some hits from SEO? Of course we do. But the biggest category is literally our business name.
Right. And because that's referrals, pretty much, right? Or people...
Referrals or people that know me, yes.
You being in the network and talking to people. Yeah. And sometimes, I feel like, oh, am I old school because I'm all about the networking and the human factor? But I feel like maybe I am, but I think it works. And I think, making time for it, I don't know. I think people are sort of in that in-between stage. It's like, I want to use the technology for what it is, but I also still need to get that human connection, and I got to get that somewhere. So, yeah, I'm really looking at 2026 as doing more in-person something. I don't know what it is, but something. It doesn't have to be going into the office or going to my clients' offices. Although I have one client that I go to their office maybe once a week, and that feels pretty good. It's sort of weird when you haven't been in an office, but it's like, oh, this is kind of nice. There's other people around, and somebody's in the elevator, and that might just be me. I mean, I'll talk to anybody who's willing. So, but I do think that there's got to be a striking a balance of the technology, the AI, and how do you bring the human side into what you're doing. So.
And that's another thing that's going to be changing for next year and the future in general is, and it's already been changing, is it's going to continue, is SEO versus AI searches. And people need to reconsider how they are writing copy for their website. SEO is not dead, okay? I do think it has an expiration date, though. That's my prediction. SEO experts are probably going to argue me on this one forever. However, I think people are going to start relying more and more and more on AI and asking it, how do I build I'll use this as an example because it's actually something I've searched before. How do I build a raised garden bed? Okay.
Right.
So how do I build a raised garden bed? Well, AI is going to spit out a bunch of research, and guess what? If you have answered that question on your website is going to come up in those searches.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to start thinking about what people want to know.
Yeah. Right. That's good. I'm writing that one down. What do they want to know? I mean, that's part of the crystal ball. What do people want to know? What do they want to know about my particular business, or when they're looking for something that is, what I offer?
What's the solution I can provide for their problem?
Yeah. What's the solution I can provide? That's really good. Yeah, it's almost like SEO 5.0 or something. It's like a whole different level of it. Right? I mean, people are asking, although, part of me is like, don't ask it dumb questions, Angela, that you can find out on your own. Because sometimes I'm like, I got to use my brain too. I think that's the other problem, is when people think that it can replace, a team member or employee. It's like, you still want a person that's, using their brain, that's, studying what's happening here. So, but yeah, I had not thought about the SEO part of it. That's interesting. Okay, yeah, they're going to come after you, but that's okay. They're going to transition too, and they're going to take what they do and up level with whatever they need to do. What are you most excited about for 20? You talked about your community and how it's growing. What are you most excited about for business in general coming to the new year? I feel like we've all been kind of like slogging through 2025. I think we're putting a lot of pressure on 2026. Let me just put it that way.
Well, I feel, and I know this because I have other business owners that have said the same thing, but 2025 was really slow, and it seems like in the fourth quarter, things are starting to loosen up for some people. I know they are for me. We're bringing on, a couple of clients a month right now, which is after the really slow period from, like March through September. I'm grateful for that. So it's, I forgot the question. Damn.
If there's something you're super excited about for 2026, that things are picking up. It sounds like that that we're on the
just in general. I mean,
people, people coming on. Yeah.
Business in general, onboarding new. I'm really looking forward to building up the association services portion of the business. I have started also a small consultant business, mostly around operations and budget, which tends to be my strength. That's on a different website even than ours.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Thinking about a few other businesses, given the type of economic growth that we're having in the community here, which could potentially be actually in person or brick and mortar. So that will be a little bit different for me.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. There was something you said that just sparked, shoot. I know. The crystal, the crystal ball. My crystal ball is not showing what my question was going to be. Oh gosh, it was about 2026 and how much we're putting so much hope into 2026, and I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Maybe that's just normal at this time of the year, where we're just like, let's wrap this up and let's move on to the next.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You can put all the hope into next year or the year following or December. And the thing is if you're not putting in the hard work, the hope just makes you feel a little bit better about crashing.
Yeah, Totally, totally. I mean, one of the things too, like, and I say this to a lot of my clients, is like bringing in your team as your help as you're figuring this stuff out. So even if you're a team of one, which I am, and I have my DCA team, last year was really the first year that I was like, here's my 2026 plan. Here's what I'm looking at. Here, poke holes in it. Tell me what's going on. And it was just such an odd thing where I treated them kind of like they were there to help me only on these specific tasks. But once they knew what I was trying to do, they were able to weigh in so much more. And I don't think that's, well, maybe it's unique to DCA, but I don't think it's unique. It's like if you have even if you have a small team, if you have a little shop, if you have a boutique and you only have, a handful of employees, like bringing them in, I think is such a great way too to kind of check yourself, but also have them feel like they're part of the business. I interviewed a couple weeks ago this mother-daughter team who have a great little shop not far from where I live, and that was a big part of what they talked about. I mean, they have employees that have gone off to college and still come home to work, during their breaks or in the summertime, and I think that's a big part of what I think a lot of these independent businesses. Again, you're not in it alone. You have people around you to help just kind of see what's going on and see it from a different perspective. So
We call that the consultative approach, and that is how we coach our team members from the time they get here. It is actually in not in our handbook, but we do it in orientation, is that it's part of our Get Acquainted series.
Right.
We have one of them that says we don't tell clients no. That doesn't mean we cannot do, that doesn't mean that there might be something that we cannot do or don't do.
Right.
However, we try to find the resource for them. So it gets them thinking. So we're there to support them in more ways than just checking off tasks.
Right.
Yeah, you can get AI to check off tasks if that's all you need. Okay. But
Exactly.
we give actual feedback. If you want us to document a process, we're going to do it. We're going to document it, and we're going to come back to you and say, "Hey, you thought about doing it this way because we think it could shave X amount of time off of it."
Right.
I mean, we actually have basically proof of concept stories that we've created for clients where we've reduced their sales time by 75%, or we've cleaned out an inbox of over 5,000 unopened emails and created a system so they didn't have them in the future. Or another one was where we've helped with the contractor process, in which they were things were bouncing all over the place in different departments in their company, and it was a construction company, and they needed to get things done more quickly. Well, we created it was just a fillable document, but it solved the problem of communication and things being put in different places. Now there is a document, one place to put that information.
Yeah.
So
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's when people think of VAs, they think of often, like inbox management and scheduling. And yes, we do all of that.
Yep.
We can do a lot more, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I started with some scheduling, right? And then we got Calendly, and it was like, it's not like you guys were like, oh, we don't have anything else to do. Goodbye. It was more like, this is going to be more efficient for you, and then we can get on to doing these other things. And it, over the years, that's what kind of helped. I mean, we rarely talk about the calendar anymore at all. It just exists, and people can go find their time when they need it. So, are you finding I think this is what slipped my mind earlier, because you do hire a lot, and I think in your past life, did you have staffing as something that you?
No, it feels like it.
I don't know. It was like I guess my question though is, a lot of people say it's hard. It's been hard to find jobs, and it's hard to find employees. Have you had that experience, or any of your clients had that experience of?
Clients and colleagues, people in my business network, absolutely, is that they are having problems finding employees. I do not anticipate that to change in the upcoming year. I think that is still, I still think that's going to be the fact, between what's going on with deportations, along with people just since the pandemic, people changed their philosophy on what they want. The younger generation is really a lot about experience and comfort, and they're not a whole lot different than we were when we were younger. Maybe more anxious but
Right.
but they really aren't. They want things
Yeah.
that feed their soul, and
Yeah.
um, maybe a little less what I would term as gumption. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to realize I'm at the tail end of the baby boomers, and my team tells me I
Yeah.
don't act like a boomer, but anyways, I am at the tail end. So it's like you take a job because you need a job, whether you like it or
Right.
not, and then you can try to
Yep.
find something else. And
Right.
this group doesn't have the philosophy. I mean, and that
Yeah.
has changed over time with different generations as well. It's not just that generation.
Right.
So I think that they're simply being more selective with what they want. Okay.
Yep.
And employers are going to still struggle to find employees.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a tough one, because I'm definitely a believer. Like you're going to be spending at the least 40 hours a week at your job, probably. You might as well like it, at least enjoy it somewhat. But I get it. Like we've all, like those of us in solidly in Gen X too, we've taken the job that is just like, let me just take the job and see what else is out there. But yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I really, I encourage a lot of the students that I work with. I'm like, look, actually had one of the students that graduated. She finished University of Maryland, and she took her first, she put it real job, and she was miserable, hated it. And I was like, are you miserable because the people are awful and it's just like a toxic situation, or is it like you don't know what you're doing and no one's helping you? And she's like, I kind of just don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah, you've been there a month, and the person that they replaced had been in the job for like 25 years. I'm like, that person had it all in here. You get the opportunity to recreate it all, like digitally with spreadsheets or whatever, 'cause, well, if they would just use, spreadsheets, this one. I'm like, there you go. I bet you if you told your boss, I'm going to put all this into a spreadsheet, it'll be a lot easier on our sales reps. They would probably be like, yeah, do that. Right. So she's still at the job. She says it's going well, but I was like, if it's really awful, quit now. Just go ahead and do it. Like, but if it's because you don't know what you're doing, or you're uncomfortable, or it's like, I'm not sure, that's going to be any job you get ever. That first 6 months, you're like, I have no idea what's happening here. So that is kind of interesting, though.
And I think it's very important for the new generation coming into the workforce to ask for what they need. I believe, and full-heartedly, I believe they're a more anxious, group of individuals because they came through COVID. That has
Yep.
a large part of it.
Yep.
So they need to learn to ask for what they need. And,
Yep.
Sometimes it'll be given to them, sometimes it won't.
Right.
But I think the fear of conflict, perceived
Mhm.
conflict,
Yeah.
they don't always advocate for themselves.
Right. Yeah. I think they came through COVID, and also they lived on the internet, whether they're on it all the time or not.
Sure.
That anxiety of like the next, how many people are going to like this, or this person's doing that and I'm not doing that. I mean, it happens to every age group at this point, but they've lived it more
It's
so than the rest of
exponential
them.
on social media.
Mhm.
Whereas, at school, it was like if you had a class of, 250, you only had to worry about your circle of 10 to 25 people
Right.
thought about it and not really care.
right.
And now it's
Yeah.
like you're connected to 500 people, so now you have to worry about all 500. Are they liking my post? Are they not liking my post? So I agree.
It's really hard. It's really hard. I think what else I'm telling them is the job that you're going to get. These are the ones that are in high school. It doesn't even exist yet. And you may even be the one creating that job because it's still being developed. So it's hard to think that way as a young person. But I really believe that they're smarter than we are in a lot of ways. So
Smart internships are really important too.
Yes.
Because that's actually a great way to try out to see if you like something.
Yep. And the thing that we tell the students I work with, it's not just see if you like it, but in an internship, unlike a job, you make a lot of mistakes. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's like you're learning. They know you're learning. If you're asked the same question a few times in your job, you ask the same question a few times. After a while, people are going to be like, all right, figure it out. Like, I'm not answering this anymore. Like, that you're getting paid to do this, and we hired you for a reason. Versus the internship, you have a little bit more flexibility to be like, why is this like this? That way you could just, I don't know, there's just something about it that
An
gives you that
internship
chance.
is supposed to be a learning position, and that's where a
Right.
lot of business owners think they can just get free or reduced rate labor.
Oh
If
yeah.
you aren't teaching your intern, you're doing yourself and them a disservice.
That is 100% true. Yep. And that's the same goes for, I mean, that's a learning position as is the entry level position. Because that's the other thing. I see a lot of job posts for entry level, especially in marketing, entry level marketing position. They want you to do all the things. You better be good at designing. You better be good at strategy. You better be good at content. You better be good at social media. You should be a good writer. You should have a communications degree, but also maybe an advertising background. It's like,
What?
this person is, yeah, yeah. I mean, talk about a unicorn. It's like I've seen these and I've had them sent to me like, anybody for this position? I'm like, well, I know 3 people for these 3 jobs that you have listed in here, because one person, I mean, they're going to try, but they're going to fail because those are 3 different jobs. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Employers, don't do that.
Yeah.
I do think that's one place where, I don't know, maybe AI, maybe technology will help on the other end, which is, I don't know, the resumes that are coming through those ATS systems and the ones that aren't getting through. It's chaotic. Somebody needs to take that over and just fix that whole system. So I don't know
use
who's
an
out there.
ATS.
Have you found that you get like the good candidates, or?
We had to fine tune it a lot. So
There's the key, right? Just like with AI, it's like, are you looking to see how it works for you? You're
it was
fine-tuning.
using keywords, and we were what was it? They were putting office machinery in there, and I'm like, no, office administration, not machinery. So we had to look at our job ad and take a few things out of it, because
Yeah.
we were saying Microsoft Office, so it was sending us all of these things that were just like absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
And we talked about other people not finding jobs. I am not having that problem. Remote work tends to be preferred these days, it seems.
Well, that's true. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, I asked that too because like I have a client that was getting resumes in for a very senior role. It was like a chief strategy officer type of position, but the word strategy comes up for lots of jobs. So there was like a lot of and there was something like somebody who applied or their resume came through was 100% not qualified for the position, and their last job was as a manager of a retail store where they worked on strategic sales plan or whatever, but it was so obviously not for this job. And it, let me just put it this way, my business partner and I were going through resumes. She had to go through like 900 resumes, and I was like, that is not right.
I get 1,000 every time I post an
Yeah.
ad for virtual assistant.
Yeah.
The ATS knocks about 80% of them out, so that still leaves me 200 to go through
Right.
typically. I
Yeah.
have got a system down where I can look at it, and I know this sounds bad, but I look at it within, and it's the way that the ATS sets up the information. I can look at it and within 2 minutes decide if it's a no-go or a go. And what I look at a couple of things. They have to be in a state that we're registered in. So that's a pass fail.
Easy, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And the ATS cleans most of those out, but I still confirm it. So they have to be in a state we're registered. They have to have very specific skills. So I look at the skills section, and then I'll look at the list of jobs without going into detail on them too much.
Right.
If it's a pass, in my opinion, I'll look at it a little bit more. But you can tell
Right.
in the instance you just gave, chief strategy officer, and this person worked in retail, okay?
Right.
So unless they were the chief strategy officer for that retail location.
Retail, right?
Then that,
You're a manager, general
Right.
manager,
Right.
the store. Yep.
store manager. I can look at the job titles and relatively get a good idea if they've got enough experience.
Right.
Or anything that's even a potential crossover. I'll look at it a little bit closer.
Yeah. Well, I hope that technology improves too, because I just think that there's resumes that are falling through that should make it to that next stage, and I think there's some that just are coming in hot. And you're like, how did this get here? So,
Yeah.
but you, like you said, you trained it, you improved on it.
We did. We looked at the types of things that were coming through and adjusted our job description. It's still the job description we need. It's just not picking up. What's happening is it's not just the ATS, but it's also the sites where it's on.
Oh,
And
right.
it's so if somebody puts in administration or administrative, it's going to pick up administration of the FDA. It's going to pick
Right.
up all things that are
Right.
like not even closely related to it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to make sure that the wording you're using, some of the more generic ones, strategy being one of them, is not necessarily in that.
Right.
Creating detailed client marketing plans might be a better way of saying strategy.
Right. Right. Totally. It is true. Oh, that's good. Those are good tips. All right. Well, we're winding down. Anything we didn't cover? Anything in our crystal ball that you want people to know about or think about as we're winding it down here?
You know, 2026 is going to be a good year. I firmly believe that. I'm also putting the action behind it. So, yes,
So that's our tip is
put the action behind
2026
it.
will be a great year. Put the action, put a little bit of little of the effort behind it and get moving.
Yep.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And, if you're still watching here till the end, hire somebody from DCA Virtual to help you with your bullshit because we know you have it. We know you're we know you're we know you're sitting there spending 2 hours trying to clear out those emails and then you're like, why don't I have time for this? Well, because you spent all this time doing nonsense. Stop it. Right, Denise?
Absolutely.
Have someone in your back pocket like Denise's team where you could text and be like, I can't find the Riverside link. They'll take care of it for you. So I appreciate it. Have a really good rest of 2025. Here's a great 2026. Thanks for all you do for not just like me as a business owner, but a lot of business owners I know look to you and your team to, get us over the finish line. So thank you for all you do, friend.
You are quite welcome.
All right. I'm going to stop.